Hello, welcome to Fractions, Part 8. This is Fractions Practice. You need a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. We'll do this in the same way we do mental maths. You should work through the questions with me. If you really know what you're doing, you can go ahead of me and check with me at the end. Just a reminder, the first two questions come from Fractions Video 1. The next two comes from Fractions Video 2, Fractions Video 3, Fractions Video 4, Fractions Video 5, and the word problems can be from anything. So if you want to look back at one of those videos for the part that you're not so sure of, you can. Let's get going with question 1. What fraction of A is unshaded? There's A. What fraction of it is unshaded? Well, 1, 2, 3 bits are unshaded. Let's see how many bits are all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3/6 is unshaded. Some of you might know that that's the same as a half. Question 2. What fraction of B is shaded this time? Not much of B is shaded. 1 bit, 1. 1 out of, let's see how many bits are all together. Don't forget to count this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 1/10. Not very much of B is shaded in, just 1/10. And we move on to question 3. Question 3, add in fractions. The denominators are the same, the bottoms are the same, which means we can just add the tops. I'm sure some of you are getting very quick and very good at this now. 8/10 added to 9/10. It's going to be a number of tenths. Did you beat me to it? 8 plus 9 is 17. 17/10. That's what you need to know. Some of you might know a little bit more, that 17/10 is worth the same as 1 and 7/10. But 17/10 is absolutely fine for this question. We'll move on to question 4. Question 4. 7/7 take away 5/7. 7/7 is actually the same as 1 whole because you've got all the pieces. It's in 7 pieces, you've got all 7 of them. But you're not going to have all 7 of them for long because we're going to take away 5 of them. If you had 7/7 but you took away 5 of them, or you lost 5 of them, you would only have 2 left because 7 take away 5 is 2 and it's 2/7. 7ths all the way. 7/7 take away 5/7 is 2/7. That was question 4. We're on question 5. We call these fractions of a quantity because they're a fraction and an of and a quantity, which is a number. 1/4 of 40. 1/4 of 40. How do you find a quarter of something? You divide the something, which is 40, by 4. So here we're doing 40 divided by 4. I can do that with my times table songs. How many 4s in 40 is the same as 40 divided by 4. So I'll sing my 4s until I get to 40. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and 28, 32, 36, and 40. Counted on my fingers, and my fingers told me it was 10. 1/4 of 40 sweets is 10. The whole number 10. Question 5 is done. Now we're on question 6. 3/4 of 40. Well, the last question was 1/4 of 40. This time we're doing 3/4 of 40. This is really a year 4 level question, question 6. But I'm sure most of the year 3s would be okay with this. So, how do you find 3/4 of 40? Well, what we do first is we find 1/4 of 40, like we did in question 5, by doing 40 divided by 4. And it was 10, wasn't it? Question 5 was 10. 40 divided by 4 is 10. That gives us 1/4, but we want 3/4. So we times our 10 by 3. 10 times 3 is 30. 10, 20, 30. Okay, so what you're doing in these 3/4 of 40 questions is you're getting your quantity, 40, you're dividing it by the bottom. 40 divided by 4 is 10, and then you take that 10 and you multiply it by the top. 10 times 3 is 30. That's how we get 3/4 of 40 as 30. On to question 7. What are we doing here? Doing some adding with some halves. 2.5 plus 1.5. Now sometimes I draw little pictures for these. I think today I'll do it without the little pictures. 2.5 plus 1.5. So how will I do it without the pictures? Well, I'll first add the big ones, the whole ones. There's a 2 and a 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. I'll put that in green because I circled them in green. 2 plus 1 is 3. Then I'm going to add the fraction parts of the question. A half plus another half. Did you know that a half plus a half makes one whole, doesn't it? So the halves go together to make another whole one. So I got 3 and I've got 1. So it's 3 plus 1. I'm sure you know what that is. The full answer is going to be 4 then. Because the whole numbers added up to 3. The fraction parts added up to 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. 2.5 plus 1.5 equals 4. And we're on question 8. It's going to be a minus. Question 8. 7.5 minus 3.5. 7.5 minus 3.5. I'll do this one without pictures as well. If I take the whole numbers, 7 take away 4. So I'm taking these purple ones. 7 take away 3, I should have said. I said 4, didn't I? 7 take away 3. The answer is 4. Because 7 take off 3 is 4. But we've also got a half. But then we take off a half. So a half take away the half is just nothing. So we're okay with 4. The answer is 4. 7.5 take away 3.5 equals 4. That's question 8 done, and we're on question 9. Question 9 is a bit different from yesterday, because the question mark... Oh, no, it's not. No, I don't think it is. Question 9 is similar to yesterday. 2/8 equals a mystery number of sixteenths. A mystery number of sixteenths. So this is the mystery here. Don't know what goes here. Need to find out what goes there. So... the top is a mystery to me because it has a mystery on it. But the bottoms, they're there. The denominators, they're there. What happens to 8 to get to 16? Sing your 8 till you get to 16. 8 and 16, 2 fingers tells me that we multiplied by 2. 8 times 2 is 16, isn't it? So, to be fair, don't upset anyone. Don't upset the numerators up the top. They want to be times by 2 as well. They want to be multiplied by 2 as well. So 2 times 2, that's 4. So it tells you that 2/8 is the same as 4/16. That's why we write 2/8 equals 4/16. They look different, but they're worth the same. They're the same size. So this number here, the question mark, will actually be a 4. That's why on the answer sheet, when I write the answers on the answer sheet, I just put a little 4, which means the 4 goes there. So the answer is 4/16. And we're on question 10. This one is a little bit different to what we've been doing because the question mark's in a different place for question 10. So we have 1/4 equals 3 on the top, on the numerator, but the bottom is now a mystery. We have an empty space here where the denominator is supposed to go. So this time, I don't know what's happened to the bottom because it's a mystery. So I won't worry about that yet. I'll find out what's happened to the top. It's always times. I mean, it can be divide on these questions, but I prefer to use times. It's times by something. So the numbers we know are 1 changes to 3. 1 times what is 3? 1, 2, 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So if you're going to times the tops, the numerators, by 3, then you just times the bottom, the denominator, by 3. 4 times 3. 4, 8, 12. It's 12. So 1/4 is the same size as 3/12. They look different. 1/4 looks different to 3/12. Doesn't really matter what one looks bigger. It's not about what looks bigger. It's about the size they actually are, and they actually are the same. That's why we write equals in. 1/4 is the same size as 3/12. So 12 would go where the question mark is. That's the missing part, 12. And we're on question 11. We're on to some word problems. Can be quite tricky. Jack has 18p. He spends half. How much is left? So we've got to figure out what kind of question we're doing here, and we're actually doing a fractions of a quantity question. Jack has 18p, he spends half. We want to know what half of 18 is. And it's a fractions of a quantity question because it's a half, which is a fraction, it's an of, which is of, and it's a number, which is a quantity. Fractions of a quantity, half of 18. You might know that anyway. If you don't, you do 18 divided by 2 to find out. Could sing my 2s up to 18. It's 2, it's 4, it's 6, and it's 8, and then it's 10, it's 12, 14, 16, and then 18. 9 fingers, the answer's 9. Is this the final answer though? Jack has 18p. He spends half. Okay, so he spent 9p. How much is left? Well, if he had 18p and he spent 9p, how much is left? You don't really need to do this because you probably know. But 18 take away 9. 18 take away 9 is 9. So he spent 9p, he's also got 9p left. Because he spent half, he's got half left. So the answer is 9p. And we move on to question 12. 1/5 of Amy's money is 5p. So they told us a fact. 1/5 of Amy's money is the same as, is 5p. 1/5 in this case is 5p. How much has she? That means how much money has she? So we want to know all of her money. We get told that 1/5 of her money is 5p, but that's not all of her money. That's just 1/5 of her money. If I draw a picture of fifths, this doesn't really look like money or anything, but I'll draw a picture the best I can of fifths. They're supposed to be equal size. If they're not, it's just because my picture's not very good. We know about 1/5 of Amy's money, which is like this much of her money. We want to know about all her money. How many fifths is that? 1. We want to know about 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. We need to know how much 5/5 would be, because that is all her money. So how much is 5/5 going to be? We get told 1/5. We need to know 5/5. It's going to be more than 1/5, isn't it? 5/5 is going to be 5 times as much as 1/5. It's 5 times bigger. That numerator at the top, 1, gets multiplied by 5 to become 5, because 1 times 5 is 5. So we just have to times this 5p by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 25p. 1/5 of Amy's money is 5p. How much has she? The answer is 25p. Okay, let's have a look at some answers. Here they come. Pause and check all the answers. I hope you enjoy doing this fractions work. We've got 2 more days of this at least coming up, so you can practice your fractions. Look back at the original videos 1 to 5 if you get stuck with any part of this. For this, video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4, video 5. If there's something you're not getting, look back at those original videos and make sure you fix that. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.